Hello and welcome to the Spotlight. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Rose. As horrific as the recent mass shootings are at an elementary school, a grocery store, and a doctor's office, recent history tells us that it is only a matter of time before the next one. Many of the shooters are armed with AR-15 style rifles, a potent weapon in the hands of a killer. Well regarded for its accuracy, it doesn't have much recoil, allowing the shooter to easily sight their next target. The rifle fires 45 rounds a minute, and those rounds are designed to cartwheel inside a human body, shredding organs. According to the National Shooting Sports Foundation, there are 20 million AR-15 style rifles in the U.S. President Biden is calling for an assault weapon ban that would stop the manufacture and sale of new rifles. And while the politicians try to hash out solutions, there is one school district in Washington state who is fully prepared if the worst happens.
I carry two guns. The one I have here, this is a Glock 19, 9mm. This Kevlar, it'll take a rifle bullet. All my people have them. My name is John Cerna. I'm the superintendent of top schools, where the West still lives. We have about 1,000 kids at the high school. Our whole school district is about 4,500 kids. This is my 43rd year in education. I never thought we'd have to be carrying guns in schools when I became a teacher. Never, ever believed that would ever happen, but look what it's come to. Yeah. Hello there. How are you guys doing today? Good. Guys having fun? Yeah. Good. I'll let you guys go back to work. Thank you. Okay, we talk about hard corners. And let's say there's a shooting. The hard corner would be that corner of the room. You can't see it from any angle. So if we go in, the kids will be, everybody will be in that corner. That's called the hard corner. So, and for the future, we're eliminating any construction, these types of windows. It just gives more, and they may be a lot smaller, but and these kinds of windows also, they'll only be 4 by maybe 36 inches, and that's it. So my kids are safe. Are your kids safe? Are your kids safe in Seattle? Are they safe in Mount Vernon? Are they safe where you work? Because I've had parents outside the district say what you're doing is wrong. I said, you know what? You don't live in Toppenish. Okay, I haven't had anybody in Toppenish push back. Matter of fact, our parents say thank you very much after what happened in Uvalde, and we're getting nothing but positive press. But that's not what this is about. It's about keeping our kids safe and our staff safe and us safe too. The training we've had, which most people haven't. I mean, something as simple as a baseball bat in a classroom, right? You could use that to ward off an intruder. A spray can of wasp spray. They shoots about 20 feet. Instantly, you're down. In the eyes, person incapacitated, just like that. So we have taught our people how to keep our kids safe. If we're not there to help them, but there will be somebody there within seconds, within minutes.
We want them to feel safe here, so we spend a lot of time talking about safety. We have conversations with students about, being aware of their surroundings. It's also important that they understand the why, so that when I give them an instruction on the intercom, or their teacher gives them an instruction during something that's going on, right, that they respond appropriately. And we're not playing around, we're not, goofing off, like this is serious, we're doing this for a reason. And so we have lots of conversations with kids about that.
When the shooting occurred at Sandy Hook, I sat in my West Conference room watching it unfold, and I thought, we have to do something to try to protect our kids. I called my board president, and he came down and we talked. I said, Rick, I've got an idea. So I want to arm my people. And Rick kind of goes, that's kind of out there. I showed him a video on YouTube. There was a 2004 Dade County shooting at a school board meeting.
And I've got a feeling that what you want is the cops come in and kill you because you're mad. Because you said you're going to die today. But why? This isn't worth it. This is a problem. Please don't. Please don't. Please.
I'm gonna kill you. Don't you understand? After I showed him the video, I asked him if I could write a policy and arm my administrators and my directors. And they gave me the green light to do that.
Range is hot.
Yakima Valley, a lot of people hunt. And a lot of people have grown up with guns. So I didn't have a problem getting volunteers. There were 12 people that volunteered to do this. And nobody gets paid. It's a volunteer position. And there are no teachers. There are only directors, administrators. The training is very rigorous, and it's good. In the wintertime, we usually work inside. We use soft guns or soft bullets. But our trainer tries to make everything as real as possible. The district gives us a stipend to purchase bullets, or I should say safety gear. We don't like to use bullets, so we use safety. And I've been asked, how come we don't have teachers? I said, because teachers belong to unions, and if I have a teacher stay for a training for 3 hours, we've got to pay them, and we do training twice a month. You're required to stay on the team to at least put 4 hours of training each quarter. Door's locked, that's good. All the active shooters that have happened since, even prior to Columbine, nobody's ever breached a locked door, ever. We have a buzzer system in 4 of our elementary buildings and our preschool, whereas they have to buzz in, identify themselves before they can come in. So the door's locked. If they don't know who they are, they won't let them in. That's their job, to make sure that they're not an intruder. Just like the guy, Uvalde, you're not gonna let him in. He comes up with a gun, right? That's not gonna happen. So, and we do have a security person there at all times also. That's their job.
I do feel that in this district we're safer because, you know, locked doors don't get breached by school shooters. And our front door is locked. There's a buzzer. My staff is trained, having training with the T-ball bats to know what to do in the event that someone does get inside your door. There's no question that I feel safer than some of my colleagues in other districts.
My rebuttal to the critics is fix it first, then come and talk to me. I'll get rid of the guns. If my kids are safe, I'll get rid of the guns.
We also do a lot of work around social emotional learning, because one of the biggest ways to prevent a tragedy is to have relationships with our students and their families so that we can be aware of any red flags early on. And so that work that we do is also really important. You know, it can't just be the logistics of having doors locked. We also have to spend time with our kids, and so that we can read those changes in their behavior or in their family's behavior.
I don't think an 18-year-old should be able to buy a gun, because they're too young. And I think we should have universal background checks on everybody that's going to purchase a gun. And I think it's 21 years old is probably the right age. I don't know if that's the right age, but at some point we got to allow it to happen, right? Drinking age is 21. So universal background check. And after that, they need to take gun safety course. That would eliminate 90% of the people out there buying guns. And especially the people that are going to use them incorrectly. But until that happens,
it's not something that you know, when you go to school to become a teacher or administrator, you think, oh, like someday I'll be carrying a gun. But I and my colleagues would do anything to keep these kids safe. And so that's really where it comes from.
Superintendent Cerna tells the Spotlight that he's gotten calls from several colleagues across Washington State and the nation about his program, and he has shared the draft of his firearm policy with everyone who's asked for it. So far, only a few districts in eastern Washington have followed suit. It's virtually impossible to imagine school administrators packing heat in Seattle, Tacoma, or Everett. Whether an active shooter incident is in a school or a workplace, most are over in less than 5 minutes, so police response time is critical. There isn't time to stand around and wait for a SWAT team or draw up a plan while the shooting is going on. That's why Valley SWAT instructors are conducting active shooter training for patrol officers in South King County. because they will be the first to confront that threat, ensuring that the disgrace in Uvalde never happens here.
Move. Suspect down, suspect down.
Around every corner and behind every door could lurk an armed gunman in this abandoned dorm at the Rainier School in Buckley.
Help, help, there. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. Where'd you see him at? Where'd you see him at? In there.
Patrol officers from Kent, Auburn, and Federal Way, working in teams of 3, have no suspect info other than a report that someone came into the school and started shooting.
Part of the dynamic of a scene like this is that it's chaos.
Their job is to get in there immediately and address the threat.
There are innocents who are at risk. These people are potential hostages.
Kent Police Commander John Thompson heads up Valley SWAT and wants every patrol officer to learn these tactics.
Clear, coming out.
It's going to go from 0 to 60 very, very quickly.
First, officers are instructed to listen, then go to the threat instead of flooding the entire area. And communication is key.
Take the left. Second. Move.
Your guys' techniques and the angles that you guys were covering was really solid. I really liked it.
They have to stop the shooter, look for other dangers, and watch each other's backs.
Patch to patch. That way you know for a fact when they're going in the room, you can slide over with them.
The instructors are teaching them the life priority system.
I'm going to place my life in danger to rescue the innocent bystanders and the hostages who are above me.
The officers have to risk a lot to save a lot.
When gunfire starts happening and you're getting shot at, it gets pretty hectic, right?
The goal is to recreate the same stresses and adrenaline rush that officers would face in a real situation. They use sim rounds, which look like this, and role players like me to create unexpected surprises.
I've got a hostage. We're in the room. They don't know that there's a hostage and a bad guy coming out of the room. So let's see how the training goes.
Help, help, he's in there. He's in there. Hands up, hands up, hands up. Stop. Very dead. Emily, you need 2 shots fired. Yeah, suspect down.
You know you got shot when you get shot because they sting. Like this one for sure, and then anything like on the bone, like that one, I felt big time.
The sim rounds leave a painful reminder if they use poor tactics. This is how my arm looked a week later.
Well, they told me to drop the gun when I got shot, and I forgot to do that, so you guys kept shooting.
Each officer who completes this training will be better prepared the next time the call for help comes out, because it's not a matter of if, but when.
I hope what they bring back with them is a realization that these tactics actually do work. Sometimes we see at the outset they're not sure they're going to work. There's some hesitation because of the sims rounds we're using. They don't want to get shot themselves because it can be kind of painful. But also a realization that I can confront this situation using these tactics and I can be successful.
Let's see your hands. Hands up, hands up. Walk to me.
In March, Governor Inslee signed a House bill into law banning active shooter drills involving school children. Amy Wallen sponsored it, citing the impact on mental health for kids. But that doesn't stop law enforcement from drilling scenarios like you just saw without kids. And as the political debate goes on, engineers are working on new tech that they hope will stop mass shooters. A company called Evolve Technology developed a screener that's powered by artificial intelligence. It's similar to a metal detector, but allows people to walk past without stopping to empty their pockets. The device uses low-frequency waves to scan people and machine learning to determine if they're carrying everyday objects or a weapon. If it spots a weapon, it sends a picture of it to screeners, including where it's hidden, along with facial recognition information, all in real time. Evolve says one machine can screen 3,600 people an hour. That's one person per second walking past it. The system has been rolled out in schools in West Virginia and North Carolina. Last month, an Evolve system caught a student with a pistol walking into a high school in Charlotte, 2 days after the scanners were installed. Senseless violence in Seattle, leaving a hardworking man with one eye after 2 armed and dangerous suspects tried to carjack him at gunpoint. A warning for our more sensitive viewers, you're about to see video of the shooting, but a reminder that this victim lived and you're going to hear from him. Bullet holes, shattered glass, and a man who's scarred for life, now blind in his left eye after 2 carjacking suspects opened fire.
I just heard a boom, and then I'm like, it's like, and I started seeing blood.
Kareem says he parked at the Brown Bear Car Wash in the Lake City neighborhood on April 25th to eat a burger after work. 2 armed suspects approached his car.
I didn't even think their guns were real for first, you know. But then I still don't want to change it, you know. I said I'm gonna reach for the keys, you know, and please just. But I was like, you guys don't have to do this. Please don't do this, man. I don't have no money. I'm like.
In the video, I see you like talking to him. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And then I didn't even realize that they were reaching out, trying to pull me out of the car.
Do you think they thought you were reaching for a gun?
Yeah, maybe, because I did mumble something that there's something about these real guns or something like that.
Even though he agreed to give them his keys, the suspect started shooting, glass spraying as he ducks, bullet fragments hitting him in the face. He drove himself to the hospital. Now he's also having trouble seeing out of his right eye. He moved here from the Ivory Coast when he was 14. He has to fight back tears, knowing his mom could be grieving right now. She wants the police to catch the people that shot you.
Yes, because they're going to. You won't continue.
They won't continue.
That they're going to continue to do that to people. So.
Seattle police say the carjacking was a crime of opportunity. The suspects were walking by when they spotted him parked there.
They've obviously staked this out. One approaches from the front, one approaches from the rear.
Detectives describe both suspects as under 30 and possibly of East African descent.
Their faces are covered, but somebody's going to know who these guys are.
Kareem spent weeks in the hospital and still has more treatments ahead. He's been working 2 jobs, including one as a dishwasher, before he was shot. Now he has no job, and to make matters worse, his car got towed. With his resources tapped, I took him to the tow lot, paid his bill, and helped find his car.
Yeah, this is it.
It will need a lot of repair and care, just like Kareem, who's struggling emotionally.
It's like I feel like a ghost or something. Like, I don't even know what to tell the job. Like,
while the 2 suspects who almost killed him are on the loose.
Just say something, you know. Do something, please, you know, not just for me, just for the next victims, you know.
If you can identify either suspect, Crime Stoppers of Puget Sound will pay you a cash reward of up to $1,000, and you will remain anonymous. Just text your tip through the P3 Tips app on your cell phone. An encouraging update to share with you tonight in the fight against crime, after police say they arrested 2 of the armed and dangerous carjacking suspects that we first showed you here on the Spotlight a couple of weeks ago. Detectives say these 3 suspects stole 2 cars in 12 hours in Seattle at gunpoint and tried to take a third, but couldn't drive stick. Turns out the suspects are teens. A 17-year-old and a 16-year-old are in custody, charged as juveniles with robbery first degree. Detectives say after the Seattle carjacking spree, the suspects committed an armed carjacking in Tukwila. They drove that stolen vehicle to Federal Way, where they shot up a house. Officers responded and arrested them despite their attempts to escape. They'll also be looking at charges of drive-by shooting, unlawful possession of a firearm, and resisting arrest. The 3rd suspect has been identified as a 14-year-old. He's not currently in custody. To see more stories like these as soon as they break, go to our website, fox13seattle.com, and look for the Spotlight or find us on YouTube. That's all the time we have on this edition of the Spotlight. Until next time, be smart and stay safe.